experience, Colleen enjoys presenting inspiring and empowering workshops. She's also a member of the Church of the Living Spirit and one of our ordained ministers. She has hosted radio shows for many years, and is currently the host of the very popular Lilydale radio show, Embracing Your Essence, which is on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Facebook Live. Colleen is the co-founder of the online soul empowerment community and is the author of the book Courageously You, Magical Mind Games to Get Unstuck and Reignite Your Joy. I love that. Beautiful. You know, one thing about Colleen and Greg, they are one of the only couples that one-up me out here walking around. I'll be like, I got to get out there, and she's out there again. I got to get out there. They're out there. Let me tell you, they are out there all the time. And I got to say, whenever I see Colleen, she is like a bucket of sunshine. All the time, she's a bucket of sunshine. You are so loved in this community. You have such a positive attitude in everything you say and do. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. In case you don't know, I love a microphone. I don't know what that is, but when I was younger, I was very shy, which I know many of you would go, what? But I was very shy. And so I thank you so much for inviting me to be here. I'm very happy to be here on this beautiful day. It doesn't look like it's going to rain until later, so we're all good. And it's funny you mentioned the walking, because I'm actually going to start my talk out with a little walk I had. But first, I'm going to talk about a simple way to help you feel better, a simple way to help you be your awesome self and live your most amazing life. This is what I love to talk about. I love to help people move into a new perspective on their lives so that they can live their lives with as much joy as possible. And so I had an interesting experience the other day. As Nancy says, I walk a lot. I love walking around here. I love walking in the woods. It's a great place for me to reset my energy. So we were doing something, and then I said, I need to go for a walk in the woods. It was just out of the blue. I don't know. It just happened, right? So I was like, I'm going to go for a walk. And Craig doesn't like going with the woods with me. I'm not sure why that is, but whatever. And so I'm out there and I'm walking, and I'm like, man, I was going to do some other things. So I'm walking back there, and I really like going back to Mud Lake, walking behind Emmy's house and taking that path back there. It's quiet. I see a lot of animals, and I rarely run into people, so I love it. So I'm out there, and I was walking past Mud Lake, and I decided I'm going to go walk to the water, and I wasn't going to walk to the water. And so I thought, that's weird. And so I walked to the water, right? And I got really close to the water, which I never do because it's really muddy and I don't want to fall in. So as I'm down there, and I'm just looking at the water, looking for the beavers and all that stuff, and I turn around and I see car keys on the ground. And I thought, oh, that's interesting, right? So I pick them up, of course, and so I'm not going to leave them there. And as I got back to the dirt road, and I made a little video, and I said, I found car keys, and I'm going to go push the buttons in all the parking lots and find this car, right? It'll be fun, see what happens, right? Set the alarms off and everything, so I thought that would be a really good time. So I finished my walk, it took my normal walk. I didn't rush back. I thought, well, they'll figure it out eventually. And so as I was walking back, I passed by a couple of people, and right away I thought, it's their car. And I thought, well, we'll see. And so I just passed. I didn't stop and say, did you lose your keys? I just kept going. It's because I wanted to find the car. So I got to the parking lot, and one of the parking lots, right? And I went to the right parking lot, and I looked, and I'm like, it's that car. And I walked over to it, pushed the button, and it was that car. I thought, wow, how cool is this, right? So then I went back and found the other people that I saw, and I said, did you guys lose your keys? And I held them up, and they were like, oh, I didn't even know they were lost yet. They didn't even know, right? So, which was kind of fun. They were very grateful. Apparently, the man loses things regularly. And so they were like really happy that I found the keys. Apparently it was a rental as well. So I was like, this is really cool. And so after that happened, I started thinking about how I find things and return them to their owners. When I was at the ocean a couple of months ago, I found an iPhone in the ocean. And then I'm like picking it up and I'm going, ha, trying to make it work. And darn, if the people didn't just like come right there. And I'm like, they had walked back, their little 2-year-old had thrown their phone in the ocean. So, but I managed to reconnect it with them. It was really divine order, right? So I started thinking about how I find things, and then I started thinking about how life really is in divine order, and that we're always getting guidance leading us to our next step, right? I had no intention of walking in the woods. I wasn't going to walk back there that day, but I walked back there, and then I followed that urge to go to the water, and then I followed the urge to find the owners in the car, right? And I'm not making this sound like oh, I'm so amazing. It's not that at all, because I had no awareness of what I was doing. It just happened, right? So I was being guided without knowing it. And we are living in a wild time. I'm sure you maybe have noticed that. It's a little bit insane out there right now. The energy that we are experiencing now is beyond intense. I personally thought it would have resolved a couple of years ago, and then last year, and then 6 months ago. And here we are. I have no clue, right? It is so intense. And we are feeling like we're on this roller coaster of emotions. We're up and down, One minute we feel awesome, and the next minute we're confused, overwhelmed, apathetical, unbalanced. And we might feel directionless and confused over our next steps. And many people are wanting to live their purpose, but they're not really sure what it is. Or we're trying to solve a problem, but we can't figure out what the answer is. And our mind goes back and forth between potential solutions. And it can be very disconcerting because we think we should know this answer, right? And we as humans can feel like we must be doing something wrong, or there's something wrong with me. I should be able to figure this out. I should be able to think it out. What is wrong with me? And I can't tell you how many times people have said to me, there must be something wrong with me. I used to be able to figure out what I wanted to do next, and now I can't figure it out. I used to feel more in control, but now I can't stand the uncertainty. I don't know what to do to make myself feel better. And it's essential that we remember that we are going through a consciousness shift, which I am sure many, if not all of you, know about. And this has been going on for decades, but it has obviously more recently sped up and accelerated and intensified. It is an insane time out there. So this consciousness shift is moving us from our emphasis on the physical existence of our lives, emphasizing how we have been so concerned about how we are living in our physical lives that we've become a bit disconnected from our spiritual, from our soul, from our divine connection. And so what's happening is the energy is shifting to help us move from that more darker, lower vibrational energy into the higher vibrational energy of love and light. Within that, we are also moving into the concept of oneness, where we recognize we are all connected. Everything is connected, everyone is connected. And it seems that right now we are seeing a lot of the opposite of this in this world, which is very disturbing for those of us who are nice people, or for those of us who are empaths and pick up on the energies of the world. It has been very troubling and challenging for many people how to handle what's happening out there. If we know that the world and our own personal vibrations and energies are raising up, we can start to understand more about why we are feeling all over the place. I like to say like a ball in a pinball machine. We're just like over here, then we're over here, then we're over here. And people call this evolution, this consciousness shift, an ascension, that we are ascending to a higher vibration. Some people call it moving into the fifth dimension. It really doesn't matter what label we call it. Okay, we can call it whatever we want. It doesn't make a difference because we are shifting into this. And we are moving into the energy of living more fully from our soul, where we are totally and completely connected to the divine infinite intelligence. This shift is beyond what I could have imagined, and not in a good way in some ways, right? Other ways it's amazing, but it has been beyond what I imagined, because as we've been aligning to this new vibration, so many of us are feeling off. We're just not feeling like ourselves. We don't even know who we are. We're overly emotional, etc. And with this energy, we've got the two things happening, the darker energy and the light energy. So we could be extremely energetic or absolutely exhausted. We could feel empowered or totally lost. We could be feeling loving or we could be feeling hateful. Our physical bodies might be having health issues, but there's no physical cause. So along with this, because we're not really sure how to handle this, we've never been through this before, we don't have a roadmap. Nobody said, oh, do this, and you'll get through it just fine. Nobody said that, so I'm doing it. So, we'll see. We might also notice, because this is an energetic shift, that we feel like we need to run away or stay away from people. Have you noticed this? Where you're just like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to stay in my house. I want to go in the woods and talk to the beavers, and that's all, right? And that's part of it too, because then we start thinking again that there's something wrong with us. And there's nothing wrong with us. What is happening is a part of us is, without our conscious awareness probably, trying to replenish and protect our energy so that we can navigate through this uncertain time. And with all of this, everything that's happening, we might feel like we can't make a difference. And we might feel like our efforts don't matter. And we might feel like we don't matter. Like people aren't seeing us, that no matter what we do, it doesn't make a difference. And so then we can start to feel really helpless and powerless, like we can't do anything about this. So then we want to give up. And instead, it's the wrong kind of giving up. It's the giving up where we stop trying, rather than the more positive kind of surrendering and allowing ourselves to be guided. So as we move into this new vibration, anything in our own lives that needs to be released is coming up. So we might have the stories where we feel like we're not good enough. We might have disempowering beliefs that tell us who we are. They limit us in our lives. We might have these unaware reactions where we blame people or situations for why we feel so badly. But if we can remember that this shift is helping us purify our energy. Think about that for a second. It's actually kind of cool to think about, don't you think? It's helping us purify our energy, helping us let go of those things that are no longer helpful for us, helping us let go of those things that are blocking us from living our most outstanding lives, helping us move into a new direction where we can strengthen our soul connection, where we can live from and be in that spiritual flow, where we are so guided and supported that we can let go of these things that are in our way. And not only is this energy helping us release what is blocking us or the things that are in our way of living as our soul, it's also providing an uplifting energy. So we have that darkness, we also have the light. The light is helping us. It is coming to help us. So we tend to, as humans, focus more on I feel badly, and we forget to look for the other part where we feel awesome, and that the light is helping us. And it's moving us into this higher state of being where we are literally living from and in that light energy. And you can see this energy in a lot of ways, because a lot of people are really waking up now and recognizing there is more to life than our physical existence. People are starting to have experiences that, let's just say the normal people, we'll put it in quotes, okay? The ones who are in this room who don't know yet about what I'm talking about, right? But I'm not saying that in a mean way or anything, right? But you understand, right? Where some people are unaware, right? And so people are starting to have these weird experiences. They're seeing or sensing spirit. Or maybe their intuition is increasing and they just know something. And they don't know what's happening, and they don't know why, and they don't know what. And I can't tell you how many times somebody comes into my reading room and says, I got to tell you a story, you're going to think I'm crazy. And then they tell me the story, I'm like, welcome to my world. That is perfectly normal and fine. You are fine. You're not crazy. And they're like, are you sure? And I said, yes, I am. You know, so this is what's happening, right? People are waking up and they're searching for something. Okay, they're searching for the light. They don't know it necessarily yet, but they'll figure it out, right? They're searching for the light. And in this energy, the good, light-loving energy that is available here now, and it is very strong energy as well, we long to strengthen our spiritual connection. We want to be the love and light energy, and I know you do, right? We want it. We want to live from that perspective. We know at some part of us how important it is to be in that love and light energy. And as people are waking up and we love learning new things, people are exploring metaphysical topics. Remember years ago when yoga was like, ooh, you could do yoga? Remember that? Now we've moved into the ooh, you're a medium? Ooh, that's cool. We've moved into a different understanding of so much of what's going on out here. So you might notice that, and you might also notice your empathy is increasing. Have you noticed this too? Right? You really you're wanting strong connections with others, even though you want to run away and stay in your house. Okay, so you want these strong connections, and you might recognize also that you are disturbed by any sense of unfairness, or by hatred or cruelty, or you want to do something to help people, but again, you're not really sure what to do. Our physical bodies, our humanness thinks we need to do something, when maybe all it is shining our loving light and being there for people. Maybe that's what we do. So this is so interesting. So I'm going to go back to where I started. In this light energy, we might also be experiencing more moments where we feel guided, where we're led to where we need to be, where we're in the right place at the right time. And I'm sure many of you can think of a moment or a time or something happened and you said, I walked into this place and I can't believe it, I ran into that person and then they told me this. Or I went into the store and I found this book and it's an amazing book and it's changed my life. And we have more and more of these moments. Now, what if everything you're experiencing, you're supposed to be experiencing? Everything. What if everything you're experiencing, you're supposed to be experiencing? That there's some reason, there's some learning, there's some understanding that is going to come out of everything you're experiencing. What if everything is in divine order? What if it is? What if there's nothing wrong with you? Right? There is nothing wrong with you at all. There is nothing wrong with you. What if what's really happening is that you are simply evolving and reconnecting with your soul? What if that's what's happening? What if all of these emotions that are so challenging are just helping you let go of things, learn new things, get new understandings and insights, so you can get back into that soul energy more fully and completely? What if you are literally becoming your soul here in this physical existence? What if you are returning to the truth of who you are and learning to live from this fantastic, empowering, and enlightening perspective? Because that's what's happening. That's what it is. Don't you feel better already? But really, when I start to think about these things, and these are things I really like to think about, I'm maybe a little bit abnormal, but I really like thinking about this. Like if I were living as my soul, truly living as my soul, what kind of life would I have? Right? Humans, we don't like to feel uncomfortable, right? we just really don't. So we have emotions that we don't like, and so we push them away, rather than accepting them and welcoming them and saying, what do you have to teach me? Thanks for teaching me something. We don't like feeling overwhelmed. We don't like feeling like we don't matter. And our natural inclination is to fix it. We're going to fix it. We're going to power through. We're going to make it happen. But you may have noticed this only makes us feel worse, especially in the energy we have now. Part of this shifting, this consciousness shift, is to help us learn to trust the uncertainty and accept it and go, I have no idea what's going to happen, and that's okay. Doesn't that make your stomach cringe a little bit? Right? We don't like that. Humans want to know. We want to know what's going to happen. I can't tell you how many times people ask me that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. You know, if I knew, I'd take care of all sorts of things, right? But here's the thing, this evolution is a good change. It's an awesome and wonderful change. Our roller coaster, ups and downs, our emotions all over the place, our confusion, that's all good. If we know the reasoning behind all of this, why we feel the way we feel, it's easier to let go of our frustration or irritation or whatever it might be and become more intentional in how we're living. And I'm not saying ignore your emotions, skip past them. No, don't do that. You must feel them. However, we can explore what's going on in there. What is the cause of my emotion? Because frequently we think it's this happened out here, when really it's whatever happened up here in our minds. So we want to explore what's happening. I like to say, and I always say this, everything is an opportunity to learn more about yourself and become intentional in how you're living. Every single thing. So anytime something happens and I'm responding in a way I don't like particularly, I will go, what's happening here? What am I thinking? What can I do to make myself feel better? Frequently it's changing my mind in some way, right? Everything along that line, everything is leading us to living as our soul. Every single thing. So where we would be in that oneness, where we would be in the divine spiritual flow, where we would be completely guided, where we would feel safe to talk to our friends, where we could say what we really feel without fear of attack, without fear of criticism or judgment, where we would feel safe with ourselves, to even be vulnerable with ourselves and admit, I'm having a rough day today, to myself, and then going and doing something to make myself feel better, whatever it might be, listening to my soul and its guidance. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you were totally living from your soul in that spiritual flow? We wouldn't have to work so hard. Oh, could you imagine, right? We'd have more space in our minds because we wouldn't be thinking and worrying. We would give it up. We'd say, well, I don't need that. You take care of it. I'm not doing it. We wouldn't have to figure out what's next because we would be shown, guided, led to what's next. Okay? This doesn't mean we don't take action. You know, you get that little nudge, you go do something. I wouldn't have found the keys if I didn't take that little nudge and walk, right? So we've got to do something, but that doesn't mean we have to figure it out. If we just get out of our own way, it's so much easier. It's just so much easier. So we wouldn't have to work so hard. We would let go of the feeling like we have to fix things all the time or to force things to happen. We could let go of control. We could let go of I have to, I should. We could let go of I'm not good enough. We could let it all go. Because if you are living as your soul, if you are your soul, you are connected to the divine. And the divine is perfect, is it not? So if the divine is perfect and your soul is part of the divine, that means you are perfect as well. Which makes people always go, ooh, that's weird, because you know what I did the other day? Well, don't forget, you are human, right? We are human. So while we are totally, completely divine and perfect, as a reflection of the divine, we are also have that human part. And so we do things as humans. And so what we do is we give ourselves grace and we go, oh, my humanness got in the way today. Bummer, sorry. And then we can move on, right? Because we're continuing to learn as we are transcending our humanness. That is what we are doing. We are transcending our humanness so we can fully and completely live from our soul. Life would be so much simpler. We would still have challenges because we live in a physical existence, right? But we'd be handling them from the higher vibration of our soul. Totally different way, right? That involves being aware. That involves being intentional. That involves being open. So in this transformative time, you have an opportunity to choose to be your soul. You get to decide. You can do it or not do it. It's your choice. You have free will. You do whatever you want, right? If you decided to do that, to be your soul, you would be trusting your soul. You would be trusting your soul and its connection to everything. Whenever you're feeling upset, whatever's happening, you're complaining, immediately pause and take a breath. Immediately, as soon as you notice. Okay, this has been my go-to for a while now. As soon as I notice something, I pause and I take a deep breath. And what has happened is that I'm back in my power immediately, because now I've decided how I'm going to respond. I took the breath. I paused, took the breath. I'm in my power. I'm no longer feeling out of control. I'm back here in my soul energy. And then I break the hold of those stuck thoughts and emotions. Okay, I've stopped it. I've broken the pattern. I've disentangled my mind from limiting beliefs. And then what we can do next is remind ourselves we are our soul and choose to trust it. I trust my soul to guide me. Your soul is always giving you messages. Always. Always. Always giving you messages. Okay? It could be a nudge, passing thought, whatever it is, a feeling in your body. But sometimes we're so stuck underneath the layers of our life issues, our problems, our worries, or disempowering beliefs, whatever it might be, that we don't get the messages. I tend to be a rather busy person. I have a tendency to overdo and do too many things, so I can get caught up and forget. But as soon as I notice I'm feeling off, I like to take that breath and then decide what I'm going to do next. When we remind ourselves to trust our soul and its guidance, we actually open to it. We're deciding to open to it. We don't have to look for it. Oh, where's the guidance? Tell me what to do. Where is it? Where is it? We don't have to do that. All we have to do is go, I'm open to the guidance, and that's it. Let go of trying to figure it out. Let it go. We got to have space up here. We remind ourselves and let those thoughts go. We trust we'll get the guidance in perfect timing. We could even ask ourselves, what would my soul have me do? What would my soul have me say? What does my soul want me to think or believe? And then we get curious, and we want to be open to this guidance without attachment to getting the answer as soon as possible. As humans, we want what we want, and we want it now, right? How many times? We're not very patient when we're looking for answers and solutions. I should have known this answer by yesterday. And maybe that's how it used to be, but it's not anymore. So if we're going to trust that soul and its guidance, we must fully trust it and allow the information to come in its own divine timing. We allow it to come, when it wants to come, and we get out of the way and let it do its thing. We might have a dream that gives us the answers. We might get insights about what's behind your troubling emotions. You might get insights on your thoughts, what's limiting you. You might discover how important it is to be deliberate in your energy management, especially these days. You might get a flash of intuition that tells you what you need to say or what your truth is and how you're going to speak it. And anytime you start to worry, remind yourself to trust. Trust your soul and allow it to guide you and let the rest go. Easier said than done, right? You'll have to be persistent. These are long ingrained habits. We've been doing these, many of us, for decades. Maybe even half a century for some of us, right? We've been doing it for a while. So we've got to do it one day at a time, one moment at a time, and we can do it. And this is going to strengthen our soul connection. You'll find that as you do this, and you do not have to be perfect. Sometimes people think, well, I'll never get there. I'll never get there. Every day, every minute, you're getting better. You're evolving, and the energy is helping you. So you'll start to notice that you become more peaceful. You'll feel freer. You'll feel so much freer and less tied to that human construct that we have to work harder, that we have to power through, and we have to keep going no matter what. We can let all that go. We don't have to do it. We let them take care of it. It's not our job. Let them do it. You'll also start to notice those synchronicities where you're in the right place at the right time, where you have a thought and you know that it's leading you to a new idea, a new project, or a different person or a situation. Or you'll have a synchronistic moment where you have a whole new perspective about who you are and how your life should be. And you will be in that spiritual flow of limitlessness, say that 10 times fast, and abundance. You'll also discover that doing your best, again, you don't have to be perfect, we just do our best, we're humans, right? We're gonna do our best to live as our soul actually makes a difference. The consciousness shift is an energetic shift, right? It's energy. If your energy is ascending to a higher vibration, and it is, you are positively contributing to this shift. You matter. You wouldn't be alive right now if you didn't matter and have something to contribute. You, your soul, your energy, you're making a difference here in this physical life. Whether you directly help people or you, in quotes, simply try to live as your best self, because the energy is what's changing it. So the next time you're feeling off, unbalanced, confused, all that stuff, pause and remind yourself you are exactly where you need to be, experiencing what you need to experience, so you can be led to living from and being your soul. Being your soul. And you'll open to those messages and allow them to come to you. Allow your soul to guide you. You might find the keys in the woods, or a phone in the ocean, Or maybe you'll discover how amazing you are and how you deserve to live the most awesome life that you dream of. Trust your soul to guide you, and you'll be led exactly there. Thank you for allowing me to speak today.